Hi guys, it's Kathy from Get a Book Deal 101. I recently held a live training event that was attended by hundreds of writers just like you who want to get their books in front of agents. During that training, we covered 20 quick, simple tips to help them do just that, and I want to share a few of the specific formatting tips that we covered with you. Just implementing these 4 formatting tips can make all the difference in whether or not your query gets the time and attention it deserves from agents. Because look, the average agent gets over 1,000 queries in their inbox every single month. Implementing these 4 tips is a great way to ensure that your query moves to the top of that list and doesn't end up in the reject pile. Take a look at the tips. 4 groups, and the first group are the absolute easiest, quickest fixes of the bunch. These are the simple formatting issues. If you're making these mistakes, you simply haven't put the pieces of your puzzle together quite right. The first formatting issue that you may be making is making your query letter look like a craft project. I want you to think of your query like any other business communication. Think of it like an introductory letter you might send to a prospective customer or client. Think of it as a letter that you're writing to try to impress someone. That means that your query should be comprised of nothing but text. You should not be including pictures of yourself, pictures of your cat, pictures of your vacation. You should not be including charts and graphs. Literary agent Nathan Bransford said this: "The amount of time you spend formatting, coloring, bolding, italicizing, and adding pictures to your query is inversely proportional to how professional it looks when you're finished." Did you get that? It's inversely proportional. Adding these elements make you look less like a professional writer. And this includes suggesting cover designs. Guys, it doesn't matter if your neighbor's nephew is a professional graphic designer. Unless he's a graphic designer for Random House, you do not want that person designing your cover. Period. The end. Formatting mistake number 2 is playing hide and seek with the information. Let's think back to the masses and masses of people querying. A good agent receives over 1,000 queries every month. Some receive over 2,000 queries. The way that you impress that agent is by giving them everything they need at a glance inside the body of the query. That means you really don't want to suggest that they go hunt down the goods on you on your website or on your blog. You don't say things like, "Go to my blog to learn more about me," or "Go to my Facebook fan page and you'll see that I have blah blah number of fans," or whatever it is you want them to know. If you want them to know it, you need to flat out tell them the info inside the body of the query. Also, as a quick side note, almost every single agent on the planet will tell you not to include attachments, so don't. Put everything inside the body of an email. Okay, formatting mistake number 3 is not getting to the point. This mistake falls a little outside the realm of formatting because it drifts a smidge into your writing ability. But the point of getting to the point is understanding what your word count goal is. That's why I put it in formatting. Your word count goal should be in the neighborhood of 300 words. Again, think of how many queries the agent's going to go through. You need to be able to get their attention, keep their attention before they move on to that next query. And one of the many ways you'll do that is by keeping it brief and keeping it to the point. So let me stop and let me ask you guys, just a quick yes, no in the chat box. Is that a surprise for anyone on the call? Has anybody there already sent out queries that are well in excess of that? Or are you drafting your queries now and you're way over 300? Yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of yeses. So I'm not surprised that this is surprising, but again, let's go back to the number of queries they're receiving. What you need to do is prove to them you can get to the point, that you know what the point is, you know what's important, and then you need to get out. And here's what also might be a surprise for you. Of that 300, only about 100, a little over 100 should be the synopsis of your book. I'm not saying describe your book in 300 words. I'm saying your whole query should be about 300 words. The other sections of your query are going to be the bonding open, the book hook, the author bio, and the close. The entire thing should be in the neighborhood of 300 words. Okay, so let's move on. Formatting mistake number 4 builds a bit on number 3, and that's not sticking to the point. You need to remember that this is a business document. For all intents and purposes, this is a business pitch. So the information that you need to include in your query should relate almost in every case 100% to the book and to your qualifications for writing the book. I'll let former editor Diane O'Connell tell you more about this. She says about queries, don't include your educational history unless you majored in the subject of your book. Don't include hobbies unless they relate directly to your book. Don't include personal information unless it applies to the book. The only thing that matters is the book and why it's worth the agent's time. And what makes it worth the agent's time is the fact that it's a saleable book. So this also includes things like not saying, I've been writing since I was a child. Guys, to someone who works in the publishing industry, this sentence sounds incredibly naive. I always use the same example when I try to make this point, and that's, imagine if a man walked up to you at a party and told you that he'd been playing doctor since he was 6. Would you let that man perform surgery on you? Heck no. The fact that he's been dabbling in it, he's been playing that since he was a child, doesn't qualify him to be a surgeon or to be a doctor. Well, it sounds just as silly to tell someone who works in publishing that you've been writing since you were a child. Writing is a hobby, no matter how much you love it and enjoy it and are proud of your writing. Writing since you were a child does not qualify you to get a book deal. But here's what does: being a good writer. What I mean by that is that it's okay if you're a new writer as long as you're a good writer. And you'll show that you're a good writer by having the goods on paper, by writing a clean, compelling query, and more importantly, by having a well-written book. Not by saying that you've been practicing since you were a child. This is a great example of show, don't tell. Simply show the agents that you're a good writer by writing a strong, compelling, clean query and, of course, a great book. Don't suggest that you are qualified because you've been practicing since you were a child. Or any other of the other things that Diane mentions here, they're really a waste of word count. So cut all of that info out of your query. You're better off with a shorter, cleaner query that just hits on the info that the agents are looking for. That's it for formatting, all pretty easy fixes. But making sure that your query is free of any of these really easy to fix mistakes already puts you way ahead of a bunch of queries that are sitting in the agent's inbox. So take advantage of these quick tips. Okay, the next group of mistakes I'm calling the preparation. So there you go. Those are 4 formatting tips that can put your query way ahead of the pack. If you'd like to join me for the next Secrets to Landing an Agent training event, just click the link that's either above or below this video, depending on where you're watching it. Pick the time and date that works best for your schedule, and I'll see you on the event. This is Kathy from Get a Book Deal 101. Thanks.